columnist. He writes, you can see his column every Tuesday now in the Financial Post. Rick is also a consultant on entrepreneurship and for small business. In addition, he has a leading blog dedicated to entrepreneurship, and I must say I read that as well. And you can get that, it's accessed at canentrepreneur.blogspot.com or canentrepreneur, one word, .blogspot.com. I'm pleased to welcome again Rick Spence. Rick?
Thank you, Stefan. I do want to say that I think this is an important move, and it's one that's long overdue, the harmonization of the sales taxes. But I think it could be much better managed than it is, with all due respect to everyone who's been so positive so far. As Terry mentioned, there are people who will be negatively affected. So if you don't mind, I'm going to speak up for them, because I spend a lot of my time working with entrepreneurs who are just starting up and in small service businesses, because that's where a lot of the future of employment is. It's not necessarily where our competitive future is going to come from, but it's where a lot of our employment is as we go further in society. And I think that while this is necessary, the transitional period, how it's managed, is absolutely crucial. As a consumer who's employed lawyers, contractors, and consultants as a consumer over the past year, I'm a little worried that the Ontario government is a willing partner in raising their fees to me by 8% over the next year, because it's a pretty significant expense already. And of course, most services weren't taxed under the current PST. The additional tax then that we're going to see is not just on services, but on energy and real estate transactions, and on new homes above a certain threshold, I think $500,000. That's going to put a huge burden on consumers at a time when they're watching every penny, and there's been a lot of time. I understand the political stars had to align before we could get our harmonization, but unfortunately the political stars, I think, aligned at the wrong time economically for a lot of consumers. And I know we're going to get, as families, as consumers, we're going to get $1,000 or so for to cover transitional costs, but that's a blanket giveaway to every family in the province, and it doesn't actually relate to the people who are actually spending the money, employing those services, and costing them. So it's a giveaway to some people, and it's not really helping the ones who are actually buying and paying for those services. And if it's, I guess my key point is that if it's a problem for consumers, it's a real problem for small business. Consumers are going to have to make decisions about what services they use, what they buy, because things are going to cost them a lot more. And the customers are really the source of wealth for most of us here. I know new home builders who are in the higher end, and they're scared to death that they can't move those homes now, and what will happen when they cost another 8%. That's a big concern to them. The rebate that's available for homes under $400,000 and under $500,000 is good, but it doesn't help those in the high end or most of the home builders in big cities. And across Ontario, we have service providers who are the landscapers and the contractors and the hairstylists and barbers who are going to have to decide, how do I handle this extra cost? Do I just pass it on to consumers, or am I going to have to take it out of my margin? So we actually have a case where the Ontario government says, we're coming in, we're getting our 8%. We don't care if it comes from you or your customers. And at a time like this, I find that just a little bit difficult to swallow. I think more could have been done in terms of helping to make these transitions, and actually we have time, so I think more can be done in order to make sure that the transitional support goes to the people who really need it, and not just to everyone as a whole. Thank you.
Nope, and I'm sure we're going to get some